Welcome to the deep dive. We're really glad you could join us today.
Great to be here.
We're exploring something pretty innovative, I think, for tax professionals. Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into a solution from A to Z Pro Tax software. And honestly, it looks like it could fundamentally change how many of you run your tax businesses?
Yeah, it's addressing a real pain point.
Absolutely. We know the tax prep industry has its challenges, right? And for so many professionals, maybe just starting out or even looking to grow, one of the biggest hurdles is getting that EFM.
Oh, definitely. The electronic filing identification number.
Right. It just feels like this massive roadblock sometimes. It can delay growth, maybe even stop good plans cold.
Mm-hmm.
But today, we're focusing on A to Z Pro Tax Software's PTIN Tax Firm Partnership Program. And this program, it really feels like a game changer. It's specifically designed to tackle that EFIN issue head on.
Allowing professionals to stay productive, stay profitable.
Exactly, without getting stuck in that traditional EFIN bottleneck. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unravel how this program works, what the real benefits are, and why it's kind of a turnkey solution for growing your tax business.
And what's fascinating here is just how big that EFIN barrier actually is.
Yeah.
For anyone maybe not familiar, the EFIN is basically your digital handshake with the IRS. You need it to file returns electronically.
And getting one isn't simple.
Not at all. It's a pretty rigorous application. Background checks are involved. And, well, often there are these significant delays. You just can't predict them.
Right, which can put a whole business on pause.
It really can. Stalls new folks, even slows down established pros looking to maybe expand their team. So yeah, framing this PTIN program as a way to sort of democratize access to the tax business, that feels incredibly accurate.
Democratize access, I like that.
It just bypasses that whole traditional hurdle. It opens the door for talented people who might otherwise just be, well, locked out.
You've really nailed the core problem there. That EFIN requirement, it's held back so much potential growth, not just for the newcomers, but even for seasoned pros who just want things to be more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So A to Z Pro Tax software saw this exact pain point, and they built the PTIN program specifically to, well, get around it. And the immediate, the biggest benefit is super clear. You can seamlessly file tax returns using A to Z's EFIN.
Right. You're operating into their established number.
Think about that. You get the full functional power of a tax firm, but without having to navigate that whole bureaucratic maze yourself.
It does sound revolutionary.
It really does.
Right.
But, bypassing it like that, are there maybe common misconceptions people might have about this kind of partnership? Like, what do they give up?
That's a really good question, actually. And it speaks to how new this approach feels for many. One potential misconception could be, okay, if I'm using their EFIN, do I lose my independence? Am I less in control?
Yeah, I could see people thinking that.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, getting rid of the EFIN step isn't just removing paperwork. It really lowers the barrier to entry significantly. It lets more people not just, stay in the game, but actually maximize their earnings right from the get-go.
It flips the script, as you said.
It totally flips the script.
Yeah.
For so many, that EFIN process looks so daunting, they might just give up before starting. Or worse, they get stuck in these really unfavorable revenue splits with other firms just to operate.
Yeah, that happens.
This program empowers them. Keep your business running, keep it growing, and maybe most importantly, build that trust and credibility with clients immediately. No waiting, no uncertainty about getting your own EFIN.
So it's about getting started faster, but also building that foundation.
Exactly. Operational continuity, immediate market access, sure. But it's also about empowering entrepreneurs who felt kind of stuck before.
That's a really powerful way to put it. Democratizing access. You're right. For so many, it felt like hitting a wall. So, okay, with that in mind, let's peel back another layer. Let's look at the direct, tangible benefits. The stuff this program puts right into the hands of tax pros.
Yeah, the practical advantages.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. We're talking about benefits that truly empower you, the listener. First off, you genuinely get to be your own boss. There's real independence here, the kind that's usually hard to find without a huge upfront investment.
That's a big draw.
And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
You keep 100% of your fees.
Wow.
Yeah. No revenue splits. Every dollar you earn from your services goes right into your pocket.
That's huge in this industry.
It really is. Plus, you get complete freedom to set your own prices. You decide what your services cost. That's massive for profitability, for how you position yourself.
Total control over pricing.
And for anyone dealing with bank-funded products, A to Z offers ultra-low back-end fees.
Okay, so the financial side is compelling.
Very. But beyond the money, you also get access to essential tax tools, robust support, all while lowering your overall liability and risk because you're operating under A2Z's compliant framework.
Which provides a safety net, essentially.
Exactly. It almost sounds, well, maybe too good to be true.
It definitely sounds like a significant leap forward, yeah. Which brings up an important question. How do these benefits, especially keeping 100% of fees, setting your own prices, how does that really transform the business model?
Yeah.
Particularly for pros who might be used to restrictive partnerships or, really slow payment cycles.
Right. How does it change the day-to-day reality?
Well, it creates this incredibly strong incentive for growth for getting new clients, because every dollar you bring on is yours.
Direct reward.
Exactly. And beyond that, the program offers fast IRS e-filing and refund processing that directly impact client satisfaction. Happy clients, they tend to refer people.
Good point. Faster refunds are always popular.
Always. Plus, you get weekly payouts on bank-funded returns. Now, that is absolutely crucial for cash flow, for business sustainability.
Oh, definitely. Cash flow is king.
I've heard countless stories, talented people just getting bogged down by slow payouts. It stops them from reinvesting in their own business.
Yeah, it stifles growth.
And the flexibility extends to how you work, too. The ability to work remotely with secure cloud-based software. That means you're not tied to one office. Huge lifestyle flexibility there.
Work from anywhere, basically.
Pretty much. And for those looking to scale up, the availability of one-on-one training and marketing support, that's invaluable for long-term growth, for finding more clients.
So it's not just the software, it's the whole support system.
It really is. It's like a complete ecosystem designed for your success, for the professional success.
That comprehensive support, yeah, that makes a massive difference, especially if you're working independently. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this PTIN program actually work in practice? Let's break down the steps.
Let's do it.
We'll guide you, the listener, right through the workflow, and it's actually surprisingly straightforward. First up, step 1, collect and upload documents. Pretty standard, right? You securely gather all the client's tax docs, W-2s, 1099s, the usual suspects.
Oh, the essentials.
And then you upload them to their personal taxpayer vault inside the A2Z system. It's secure, easy for you, peace of mind for the client.
That security aspect is key.
Absolutely. Then you move to step 2. Prepare the return. You'll use TaxWise Online, that's A2Z's cloud-based software, to actually prepare the tax return.
Accessible from anywhere with internet.
Right. Very intuitive. Once you're done prepping it, you just update the client's status in the software. That signals it's ready for the next stage.
Which is the review.
Exactly. Step 3, compliance review and submission. This is where A2Z's expert compliance team comes in. They meticulously review everything, the documents, the return you prepared, making sure every IRS requirement is met. It's like having a built-in second pair of eyes.
Which is incredibly valuable. Catches things you might miss.
Totally. Once it's approved, the return gets sent off for e-signature. Super convenient for the client, no printing and mailing needed.
Streamlines the whole process.
And then A2Z transmits it directly to the IRS. Boom. Done. And here's a really crucial pro tip for this step.
Okay.
Always, always upload complete and clear client documents right at the start. It sounds obvious, maybe.
But it's so important.
It's the single biggest thing you can do to avoid any delays in that review and submission process. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right. Clear docs make for smooth sailing. And that structured workflow, it's not just, process for process's sake. It's really about ensuring compliance and efficiency for you, the professional, and for your client.
Yeah, that compliance review adds a safety layer.
It's an indispensable layer of security, absolutely. It significantly cuts down the risk of errors or rejections. That protects your reputation.
Good point. Okay, so what about getting paid? How does the client pay? How do you get paid?
Okay, good question. A2Z offers 2 very clear payment options. Option 1, the client can just pay up front. There's a simple, transparent fee for that. It's $25 for individual returns, $50 for business returns. Very straightforward.
Okay, simple flat fees.
Or option 2, the fees can be deducted directly from the client's refund. In that case, the client becomes what's called a bank product client using TPG.
TPG, that's Tax Product Group.
That's right. They specialize in handling those refund disbursements from the IRS.
Gotcha. So how does that refund disbursement work then?
Well, once the IRS releases the refund, TPG processes the payment. Clients usually get their money pretty quickly, either direct deposit or maybe a prepaid card, often even ahead of the official IRS schedule.
Oh, clients love that, getting refunds early.
Definitely a plus for client satisfaction and for you, the professional. There are those crucial weekly payouts.
Yes, the weekly payouts. How does that work?
So every Monday, you get a payment sheet. It shows which of your clients' bank products have been funded. You just verify it.
Confirm it's correct.
Right. And then your payouts are released the following week, straight into your business bank account. It's reliable, consistent cash flow.
That weekly cycle sounds much better than waiting potentially weeks or months.
Huge difference for managing a business. And importantly for your own taxes, just remember, all payments A to Z issues to you come as a 1099-NEC contractor.
Okay, good to know. 1099 NEC. That clarifies the financial relationship perfectly. So, all right, we understand the workflow, the payments. What's the roadmap for someone listening right now who's thinking, okay, I'm ready. How do I get started with this? What do you actually need?
Right, the practicalities of getting set up.
Yeah. What documents are required? This is for IRS compliance, right? And just making sure everything processes smoothly.
Exactly. It's about maintaining the integrity of the system.
So, for all returns, you're going to need a signed engagement letter. That's your agreement with the client.
Standard practice.
Yep. You'll need a valid government-issued ID, think driver's license, passport for the taxpayer, and their spouse, if filing jointly. You also need dependent IDs. That could be social security cards, birth certificates, maybe even school or medical records sometimes.
Proof of dependency.
Correct. And of course, all the relevant income documentation, your W-2s, 1099s, 1098s, all that good stuff.
All the forms showing income.
Now, if you're handling business returns, specifically a Schedule C or maybe an 1120S.
Okay. Different requirements there.
A little bit more, yeah. You also need their business license or state registration, the EIN letter they got from the IRS.
Proof the business is legitimate.
Right. And comprehensive income and expense documentation, usually a P&L statement, maybe a balance sheet, and completed due diligence intake forms.
Due diligence forms, okay.
It seems like a thorough list, but really each item is there to ensure accuracy and compliance.
Makes sense. And this naturally leads us to some important restrictions that people need to know about upfront.
Ah, yes. What the program doesn't cover.
Exactly. So while it handles a lot of common returns, the PTIN program does not support fuel credits. It also doesn't support Form 990, that's for nonprofits, or Form 1065 for partnerships.
Okay. No partnerships or nonprofits. Good to know.
Also, married filing separately is not supported, and neither is Form 1040NR for non-resident aliens.
So it focuses on the more common individual and small business filings, like sole proprietors, SC, and S Corp 1120S.
That's a good way to summarize it, and there's a really vital warning here.
Okay.
Repeated questionable filings, or income that just can't be verified, that might delay things, or even lead to submissions being rejected.
So accuracy and documentation are paramount.
Absolutely critical. All income needs to be accurate, needs to be documented. A to Z might require additional verification just to meet their compliance standards, which are rightly rigorous.
And connecting that back, these requirements, these restrictions, they aren't arbitrary.
Not at all. They're in place to maintain the integrity and the compliance of the entire program for everyone involved.
Right, which ultimately benefits the professional using the program.
Absolutely. It ensures you're part of a strong, credible, compliant partnership. That protects your reputation, protects your clients, protects the stability of your business long term.
It really is about building something sustainable and ethical. Even though that EFIN hurdle is gone, the responsibility for accurate, compliant tax prep, that remains front and center.
Couldn't agree more.
So, okay, let's zoom out. What does this all mean for you, the independent tax professional listening right now? The A to Z ProTax Software PTIN Tax Firm Partnership Program, it really seems to simplify the workflow. It ensures compliance at those critical points, and it empowers you to build a strong, independent tax business without needing your own EFI.
That's the core value proposition right there.
It just means that the path to running a successful, profitable tax business, it's more accessible now, more supported than maybe it ever has been before.
Yeah.
It feels like a genuine opportunity to really leverage your skills, serve your clients well, and have this powerful back-end system doing a lot of that heavy lifting.
Allowing you to focus on the client, on the tax strategy itself.
Exactly. Focusing on what you do best.
You know, thinking a bit provocatively here, how might a model like this really reshape the landscape for independent tax pros going forward?
Interesting question.
By taking away such a huge administrative and frankly financial barrier like the EFIN process, it just makes entrepreneurship in this field genuinely more achievable.
Yeah.
for a much wider range of talented people, not just, those who already have deep pockets or huge existing networks.
It levels the playing field somewhat.
I think so.
Yeah.
It lets pros focus on what they're actually good at: serving clients, understanding complex tax law, instead of getting totally bogged down in regulatory hurdles before they even start. This kind of streamlined, supportive approach, it could really foster a whole new wave of tax entrepreneurs. It could fundamentally change who can successfully get into this industry and thrive.
And ultimately, that could benefit more taxpayers too, right? With more accessible professional services available.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
A wider pool of talent serving more people effectively.
A really interesting thought to leave our listeners with. So, are you ready to get started? To learn more and explore how the PTIN Tax Firm Partnership Program could make this your best tax season yet, just visit atzeruprotaxsoftware.com.
All the details are right there.
Yep, check it out, atzeruprotaxsoftware.com. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Taxes podcast.